Hello, Mr. Buchanan's Algebra 1A class. I'm looking at the exponent quiz review, and we are to have no answers with negative exponents. We should only have positive exponents, and I'm going to go through half of this with you, and I'm going to point you in the right direction for some help that you're going to do, that you're going to use. If you need help with these even ones, I might as well tell you right now. Because I don't want you to miss this. If you Google exponent calculator, exponent calculator, and then you will find the one, no, not that one. It's going to be Symbolab. And if you utilize that one, you could just plug these right in, and then it'll show you step by step what you should be doing. I use it to check myself in case I missed anything. It's a good way. Now these first few, you don't really need to check yourself, but it's a good way to check yourself if you get down here to these really complicated ones. Do it yourself first, and then go ahead and check yourself to see if you're doing it correctly. So the ones that I want to show you right now, starts off very easy. All I have to do is get rid of the negative exponent by moving it down underneath to the denominator, underneath the fraction bar. This stays as the numerator because everything's positive, positive exponents, so we're all good. Same thing with number 3. Just move the y to the negative third below the fraction bar, make it a denominator, and you have y to the third there. I broke this one up and worked it out like Mrs. Buchanan was doing in class. So put the coefficients together, put the A's together, put the B's together, right? Well, there's only one B anyways. But when you do this, you end up with 3a negative 2b to the third, because 3 times 1, 3 times, that's a 1a there. Even though you don't see anything there, you're just to... think of a 1 being there, because 1 times anything is itself, so that's why they don't put a 1 there. And then you have your A's together, so you have negative 3, and you have this would be just been a 1 once again if there's nothing there. And then you have your b to the third power. So this ends up being a negative 3 plus a 1. That's why it becomes negative 2. And so we're going to take that a to the negative 2, and we're going to put it down in the denominator, because we can't have any negative exponents, so we're going to make it a positive exponent by putting it in the denominator. And 3b to the third is going to stay as the numerator. Once again, you can see how I broke up this problem to put my u's together, put my v's together, and just kind of work it all out. And you should end up with 12uv to the third. How I end up with just 1u is I have negative 4 plus 3 plus another 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So, a negative 4 plus a 5, you have 1 positive left over. Number 2, I did the same thing. I broke it. I put my p's together, my q's together, my r's together. Put my coefficients together. Remember, that would have been a 1 there, so 2 times 1 is just 2. And you end up with 2q to the 7th, r to the 5th. This one, when I put my my coefficients, my 3 and my 4 together, that's 3 times 4. I put all my h's together. I put my j is just by itself. I mean, I'm not putting it together. It's just 1j. And then I put my k's together. And so I have negative 1 and plus a 0, that's just still negative 1. I have j2, that just stays the same. 2 plus 0 is 2. The only thing I'm going to do is move that h down below, because I'm gonna need to get rid of that negative 1. So it becomes 12j to the second, k to the second, over h. This one, 4 to the 4th power is 256. Now I'm multiplying. 4 times a negative 3 is negative 12, and 4 times 2 is 8. This is the product rule, because I have a power raised to a power. Power raised to the power means now you're multiplying. I have a negative 12 here, so with that x, I'm going to move it down to the denominator so that I have x to the 12th power in the denominator. So my final answer is 256 y to the 8th over x to the 12th. Okay, so the exponent on the outside of the parentheses tells us to move this down below. So the whole thing goes down below, and then I'm done. I have 1 over 3u to the 3rd. This negative exponent tells me to move it down below. Then I start to multiply by that 2, the 4, the 3, and whatnot. Then I can add my 8 and my 2, and I get 10. So this was a good one for me to double check just to make sure I didn't miss anything because there's multi-steps here. This is the final answer. But I went back and just plugged it all into the exponent calculator at Symbolab, and I was able to, check myself on that one. And lastly, this, I'm just going to put all this over 1 because this all goes below 1 because it's in a negative 2 there. Long story short, I had a lot to write. It ends up being u to the 5th over 2v to the 8th. Once again, this was a good one to double check on the exponent calculator Symbolab. All right. So work on those, work on the even ones on your own. Go ahead, make mistakes. It doesn't hurt you to make mistakes and correct them.